Shalom, Yasharallah. This your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rachakodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here lesson dealing with, how do I say, the prophetic end of Esau's kingdom, all right, and the how do you say, the changing of the guard, all right. So what you have going on right now is basically one kingdom is falling and another kingdom is being set up. We live in a transitional time, all right, to where you have the older the ancient kingdoms, like Egypt, Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, Rome, and all these different empires or whatever, whatnot, and when you just look at it in a secular history type sense, just looking at it in a history point, sometimes you might think, when I was growing up and reading in history and stuff, just in school and stuff, it's like, damn, these people, they tell you in school that these people lived at the height of civilization. They would tell you that damn near every civilization, or really the Edomite civilizations was the pinnacle of all times. But we know that things actually has been getting worse and worse as we've been progressing. Things have actually been getting worse, not better. But nevertheless, I would think about what it would be like to live at the end of one of these kingdoms, so to say, all right, and go and live through the transition, Rome, when Rome was that shit, right? Everything was all good. People was buying and selling or whatever, whatnot, everybody was living good, they was at the height of their so-called kingdom, but then there was a transition time to where they wound up falling, and then, just like all the other kingdoms, like Egypt, Egypt isn't the same. Egypt's still there today. Still, it's still there on the map today. It's still a nation, but however, they're not in the same stead as they were back in the basically the dynastic era. When they had these different dynasties, these different pharaohs going. So you see a contrast from when you see about the old ancient Egyptian history with gold everywhere and so on and so forth versus what you see today. All right, but nevertheless, we in a time frame like that right now. All right, this is the time. Basically, what people would know of as the end of the world. The planet Earth is going to abide forever. It's not going to go anywhere. But the world has ended multiple times over, many a times, all right? Just like the time of Noah and the flood. That was the time when the world ended, all right? And then you had these different world governing empires, all right? Those worlds also ended, all right? The world of the Egyptian rule, the Assyrian rule, the Babylonian rule, the Grecian rule, the Medo-Persian rule, and also the Roman rule. Well, we still, we on that second leg of the Roman Empire, because basically, that's that beast that had that deadly wound that was healed, all right? But nevertheless, we living in the times now where this here kingdom is going down, and you're about to see the establishment of the kingdom of heaven, all right, being set up, and that's where we living at right now. This is what you see going on in the planet Earth right now, all right? As far as you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans waking up, knowledge is increasing inside of you. You're not really, not really a lot of you, but, really a lot of Jake actually is actually waking up to certain shit, but they're not waking up to the 100% truth. A lot of them is realizing, they in captivity in some kind of way or the system is fucking them over, but that's about as far as it ends. They trying to go be on some black excellence type of shit. But nevertheless, if you're looking with your spiritual eyes, you see a lot of things happening, all right? You seeing, basically over here on how you would say the Western Hemisphere, all right? And we're going to just talk about here in America. But technically over here in the Western Hemisphere, you only got like, Salakia, you only have like almost like 2.5 nations over here, all right? You have Esau, the Edomites are over here, and then you have the Israelites, all right? The northern and the southern kingdom, all right? So basically, you basically have Jacob and Esau living on this here side of the globe, all right? But nevertheless, as you see over here in Babylon, you're starting to see a transition. Jake was at the bottom, all right? He was the tail and Esau was the head over here. But now you're starting to see Jake is starting to so-called wake up. They was walking around as that in that dead state, docile, just going on with the get along, But now you're starting to see some Jake starting to wake up, that young lion is being roused up, And at the same time, you're starting to see Esau and his power structure start to fall. All right, he's starting his kingdom is starting to crumble. All right, he's starting to spin out of control. So and these curses are falling upon him. So as you starting to see these things, all right, you're trying to make sense of what's going on. You have some simple Israelites just walking around out there, thinking like, oh yes, now it's the black man time to rule, whatever, whatnot, black excellence, baby. We going up to the top, whatever, whatnot, we're gonna just have more jobs, whatever, whatnot, and that's the furthest thing from the truth. Well, we are gonna rule over top of them, but that's not how the transition is gonna be, man. All right, we're gonna first of all, the Most High is gonna give us the green light, and we're gonna take the kingdom. All right, and this is how this transition is gonna go. All right, and you really have to be on the right side of the fence, but nevertheless, according to the scriptures about measuring the time diligently, all right, these are the things that you should be looking at when you start to see these things. Like I said, there's a lot of Jake out there that's seeing commotion going on, but they don't quite understand what's going on. They seeing all these mass shooters, these terrorists running around here in Babylon, letting loose on everybody with these massive shootings and things like that. And they were trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Why these people is all turned up like this right now? In reality, this is the nature of these people. This is how they get down, But nevertheless, the devil been strolling around with a mask on, and now it's mask off on your ass, He's just showing his true sides, Or why is it that you're starting to see Jake, being roused up and not taking that shit from Esau no more and putting Esau in his place? All right, because why? Jake is being raised up to basically, how Jacob held Esau's heel. He's now pulling him out of his power structure. All right, this is also why you're starting to see Babylon the Great or America starting to crumble. All right, like the scriptures say, we would have healed Babylon, but Babylon is not healed. All right, Donald Trump said what? Let's make America great again. Lining right up with the scriptures, we would have healed Babylon. The cry or the question is, hey, let's make Babylon great again, or let's make America great again. But the Most High rebuttal with what? We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. All right. So as you going around and you seeing these things, to make sense of these things, all right, you have to line it up with the scriptures. All right. These things are all according to the scriptures, what you would call prophecies. All right. These things was all set forth basically before even America was even, like how we over here right now and this type of shit, man. Before all this was even built up, man. All right, there was prophecy that was set forth from the beginning. All right, that would how do I say, that would set forth an emotion, this here plan to be played out. All right, just like if you're watching a movie, you go to the store. Let's just go back old school, right? And you go to the Blockbuster and you go get a VHS tape, right? And let's say you watching some wrestling or some shit, some pay-per-view wrestling match. Because you done went and got the damn VHS tape from the Blockbuster, the content that you're going to watch on that VHS tape is already set in stone, all right? The matches have already taken place. There's already an outcome on all the matches. The only difference is you haven't watched the movie to see it play out. Although, the matches are already, accounted for. Whoever was going to win had already won. It's already been filmed. So on and so forth. Somebody else could have rented the video before you and seen the outcome before you seen the outcome. But nevertheless, the outcome had already been established. All right. The same way with these scriptures. All right. It's the same thing. It's just like you about to go go to the Blockbuster, get a movie or a wrestling VHS tape. All right. You want to know what the outcome of the wrestling match is going to be. All right. But you got to watch that tape first. All right. So we read in the scriptures about these things that's coming to pass, which are the prophecies. All right, but now we live in a time where we're actually watching it play out. So now, we heard about the little wrestling matches, whatever, whatnot, in the pay-per-view. Now we done rented the videotape, and now we actually watching the pay-per-view play out. All right, so this is what you got going on. All right, this is the prophecies that's being unfolded right here, right now. All right, the transition of the kingdom of heaven going from Esau into Jacob. All right, so we're going to jump into these here scriptures. All right, just touching on this lightly. This is Genesis 25 and 23, I'll start at 21. And Isaac entreated Yahweh for his wife because she was barren. And Yahweh was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. Now, when you read in the book of Romans, all right, talking about, for it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated, right? Pertaining to that, it also says, before they was born, having not done good and evil, but basically that the election of the Most High might stand. All right, saying that to say this was already the outcome that the Most High had planned. So these children are struggling together within her womb. All right, but the Most High is about to rebuttal to her question. All right, about what's going on. Why do I have complications with this pregnancy? If this, I prayed to you for me to get pregnant, and you blessed me with this here pregnancy. But now why am I having complications? All right. But it was already set in stone ahead of time before they was born, having not done any good or evil. all right, because they ain't even born at this here point in time, and the Most High is about to go ahead and prophesy unto her or proclaim basically what's gonna be the end of this here matter, all right. So it says, verse 23, and Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger. All right. And so, and then now this is talking about Jacob and Esau, just in case you didn't know who it was talking about. But nevertheless, it's talking about Jacob and Esau. All right. Matter of fact, because I'm going to bring out something a little later. It says, verse 24, and when her days were to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there was twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel. And his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man in the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. But nevertheless, that's just the point that I wanted to grab there, all right? Basically, there was going to be 2 different people inside of her, 2 manner of people that was going to be separated from thy bowels. All right, and one people shall be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger. All right, now when he was born, Esau came out first. Jacob hand took hold of Esau's heel. All right, so it was already prophesied before he was even born that the elder brother, which was Esau, who came out first, was going to serve his younger brother, which is Jacob. All right, which came out holding on to Esau's heel. All right. Now, this is pertaining to, this is Isaac blessing Jacob and Esau. All right. Now, we're going to read Jacob's blessing. All right. But now when you go into, now, if we would have finished reading out in Genesis 25, there was a situation that came up where Esau was out in the field hunting, and he came back in. He was faint. He was hungry or whatever, whatnot. Jacob was in the house cooking. All right. And Esau asked him for some food, and the food wasn't even quite ready. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, Esau wound up selling his birthright unto Jacob for that for one morsel of meat. All right, so he basically wound up giving up his birthright and then also his blessing. All right, being the firstborn. So, but this is all according to the Most High's will. Most people say, "Oh, Jacob stole the birthright." Well, in actuality, Esau swear, with an oath that he sold his birthright that day, for one. But even more importantly than that, before they was even born, this is how it was set up, because it was prophesied unto Rebekah that the elder shall serve the younger. All right. Now, in the blessing, well, we're going to get to the blessing because we're about to read that now. But nevertheless, what happened was Rebekah wound up dressing Jacob up kind of like Esau to go in unto Isaac to get this here blessing. All right. We're going to just read with the blessing that Isaac blessed Jacob with, which ultimately was the blessing that he was going to bless Jacob with regardless, because this was the Most High's will and his plan. This is what was prophesied. All right. So one of the, another key important thing about this is no matter what the situation might look like. All right. Because when you read about this, Esau is checking Jacob out because Isaac is checking Esau out because Isaac is blind and old at this point in time. Right. So he like, damn, what does it say? He's like, I hear Jacob, but I smell Esau, because Esau is a man of the field, But nevertheless, how things, you could say how things would have played out if Isaac could see clearly, you know what I'm saying? He would have just blessed Esau. But that's not, that's what it seems like. That's how things seem like they could be. But it was all according to the Most High's will and his plan and his purpose. So the Most High has his way of making things just fall into place the right place at the right time, with the right conditions. All right. So likewise, in this here situation that we in now, it seems like the so-called white man is going to go on forever. It seems like America's going to go on forever. It seems like the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are going to be in captivity, going to always be at the bottom, always going to have these curses on them, going to always be the bottom of the barrel. It seems like this thing. All right. And it also seems like Esau's system is so great, so vast, so powerful. It ain't shit you could do about it. But what? We have to go according to the Most High's will and his plan, all right? Going according to these here prophecies, all right? Because when you look at it in actuality, all right, and it's speaking for myself and pretty much really all the men of the Lord, man, when you start finding out about this here stuff, man, you find out about the Illuminati, Esau, and before you even find out who Esau is, but the Illuminati and the shit that they got and the shit that they planning on doing, with the government, and they trying to kill everybody off and so on and so forth, and all the things they do. Once you find out about that, if you wise, you realize this. I can't do shit about this. I'm fucked over here. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm basically in the pit, You know what I'm saying? And these motherfuckers stand up on top of the pit with machine guns. It's like, motherfucker, I can't go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty much fucked down here. All right. So that what makes you realize you can't do nothing with your own strength. So what? You lean onto the Most High. It seems bad. It looks bad. But what's the reality of it? The Most High has a plan. That's why we have to have faith in the Most High's plan. All right. Because look, looking from the outside in, you know, we, how do you say, we way outgunned, way outmanned, way out resourced, and so on and so forth. But what, we're not looking at the carnal sense, we're looking at the spiritual sense. We're looking and we have faith in what the Most High had wrote down in these prophecies, and him sending Yahushua for our deliverance. All right. So again, sometimes it's not what it, you know, especially according to prophecies, dealing with prophecies a lot of the times, it don't seem like, especially if it's a little far off, it may not seem clear as day unto you. But like when I first came in, finding out about this here truth, all right, you know, Ezekiel 38, Gog and Magog, you know, that didn't seem so clear at that point in time because, you know, I mean, it was like, well, this is kind of inevitable, but never, because of how the way is the shit set up, it's inevitable. But at this point in time, they basically like, you know, well, Russia's really docile at this point in time. They ain't really doing shit. They're not a superpower. So, and they ain't really got shit. They like a third world country. All right. But look, over the time frame and over a time period, they started building themselves back up, man. Their infrastructure, their military, their economics. And now it seems it's clear as day. You can clearly see it. All right. But again, if you was looking with your carnal eyes from back in the days, you'd be like, well, America ain't really fucking with Russia because Russia ain't, that's you like a bully now. You know, if America's fucking with Russia at that point in time, it's like you bullying them. What's the point? It's like America trying to run up on Cuba, you know, but nevertheless, now that Russia's being reestablished, now that those hooks is being put into his jaw to bring it back, all right, and bringing it forth with all their army, now this all looks like his, I can see these prophecies coming to pass now, all right? But look, again, sometimes it's not what it seems like, you know what I'm saying? Because, hey, the prophecies, you're going to hear about that's what a prophecy is. You're going to hear about it before it even comes to pass, all right? Just like the weatherman telling you, hey, there's a hurricane forming out in the ocean right now. And you go run outside your house real quick and go look up, like, motherfucker, it's sunny as shit outside and a cloud in sight. Be like, yeah, bitch, because it's in the ocean. It ain't got to you yet. It'll be here about next week. Then we can talk, you know? But let me go from there to, let me read this. Genesis 27 and 27 through 29. 26. And his father Isaac said unto him, come near now and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment and blessed him and said, see, the smell of my son is the smell of the field which Yahweh have blessed. All right. Now, again, Jacob is being dressed up as Esau. All right. So this is and Isaac is up in age. So this is why he can't quite see him like that. You know what I'm saying? To see if this is Jacob or Esau. All right. But now Jacob is Rebecca dressed Jacob up. All right. And basically made him seem as if he was Esau, you know, put on some furs on him basically and made him smell like he was out, like, you know, somebody was just outdoors or whatever. All right. Verse 28. Verse 28. It says, therefore the Most High give thee the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and plenty of corn and wine. All right. So what? This is talking about rulership. All right. Now, Esau actually was blessed with like pretty much the same thing. Let me go down to 41, I think, or 39. And Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, now this is talking to actually Esau now, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven above, from above. All right. So, let me get back to where I was at. So basically it's saying the same thing here. All right. But nevertheless, Esau's rulership is a temporary rulership. This is the rulership that we're living in right now. All right. But look, it's also been prophesied that his kingdom is coming to an end. So even though it seems like it's going to go on forever, we're going to just be here. America's the pinnacle of all societies. No, this place is going out like a bad hairstyle, man. All right. So it says, verse 28 again, therefore the Most High give thee the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that cursed thee, and blessed be everyone that blessed thee. All right. So it was already prophesied before the boys was even born that the elder was going to serve the younger. All right. So also here it says, let thy mother's son bow down unto thee. All right. Be Lord over thy brethren. All right. So Jacob ultimately was going to, you know, reign. He was going to have rulership, and it was going to be a everlasting rulership. But then he was also going to still rule over his brother again, is being reiterated again. All right. So we're not in the final stage of, are we going to be here in America forever? The white man is the pinnacle of the society. America's the pinnacle of society, whatever, whatnot. We just at the climax. This is it. You know, anything further than this, we're going to just go into the AI age, you know, and then, race and everything like that will be all done away with. We'll just all be robots. No, because why? That's also prophesied too. When he's about to fill his belly, man. All right, the Most High is going to rain that iron weapon down on him. All right, he's going to disappoint the crafty, all right, and basically disappoint their devices, all right. But nevertheless, going back here, it says, verse 29, Genesis 27 and 29, let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that cursed thee, and blessed be everyone that blessed thee. All right. And so this is also another, this is the same prophecy, all right. Basically the same thing, saying that what? Jacob is going to rule. All right, Jacob is going to have dominion. All right, he's going to have dominion over basically over all the other nations. All right, so we're going to go from there to this second Ezra chapter 6 and verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of times, or when shall the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? So going back to basically what he's asking, how we would ask this question today is, I mean, he's asking it more in a more proper way. All right. But how we would ask this question in this time frame is, when is the end of the world coming? All right. Or when is the end of this here age coming? Or when is the end of this here society coming? All right. Or when is this kingdom going to fall? All right. So it says, verse 7 again, then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? All right. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. And so we was just reading that in Genesis 25. And then it also said, the first came out, the elder shall serve the younger. The first came out red all over, and Jacob came out holding onto his heel. All right. So this is the beginning of this here time frame to when, the end of the world is going to be. All right. So it says, and this is really a prophecy, a really long prophecy. All right, because we talking about when Jacob and Esau was being born. That's the beginning of this time clock. All right, and this time frame of wicked rulership. All right, is going to go on from the time that they was born all the way up into the time that Esau is in power to the time he falls out of power. All right, then that's when the righteous kingdom, the kingdom of heaven, is going to be set up. All right, and it's going to reign on the earth forever. All right, so it says, verse 8 again. Let me just read this all the way through. Verse 7, 2 Ezra 6 and 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of times, or when shall the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. And for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right, so how, just real quickly, if the earth is going to end, when you talk about the end of the world, all right, how is Esau's the end of the world, but somebody going to come up after him if there's no earth? All right, that's not what it's talking about when it's talking about, the world going to come to an end, the planet going to be destroyed. No, that's not going to happen. All right, what it's talking about when they say at the end of the world is the end of this here rulership, this here, you got a rulership, you can have a societal change and things like that. All right, for instance, what is it? The year 2000. All right, basically the year 2000, the world ended it again. All right, in the year 2000, because why? If you was, if you was alive and had some age to you, around, to be able to remember what the 90s and shit was like, what I'm saying, in times before that, but like, strictly the 90s and whatnot, you remember what life was like then. All right, then when 2000 came, this is when everything started changing, from, the time 2000 on forward, you started having what? First of all, digital TV versus the analog TV. So that was one little change. You had these big box sets versus now you got all flat screens. Now you got cell phones everywhere. Not just that, you got the internet. We didn't have the internet before then, the public didn't. But now everybody has the internet. Now everybody has smartphones. Now everybody's connected to everything. All right. Now, you got all kind of perverseness going on out here in this world, man. All right. And shit, even after Barack Obama, man. With the alphabet group or whatnot, they coming out the closet super strong right now, man. Changing up all kind of different things and like, man, you can't even be like, oh, have a blessed day without getting, scrutinized in this here society, man. All right. You got all kind of different things. You got them teaching these little children, you know, how to have anal sex in the third grade and shit, you know. You didn't have no world like that beforehand. You know, they used to call these things mental illness and things like that. But now you have a mental illness if you don't accept this, if you don't allow your child to do these things, all right? So, in a sense, the world has changed already from that time to this time, especially after September 11th, all right? Now you got cameras up everywhere, police state, you got the endless war on terrorism. Now you have so-called domestic terrorists where the population is actually the terrorist group, all right? Everybody's being put into further and further into debt and more bondage and slavery. All right, so what? Your days of living it up and having a so-called good life been ended in 2000, man. All right, now you so-called in this technological advanced society, everything going all forward and all super fast and everything so-called getting better. But now what? You having, like back in those days, you didn't have chemtrails and shit, man. You didn't have well, you did have Monsanto, you did have GMOs, but not as bad as you got it now. All right, so as you see all these different things, you got all these different race relations and things going on like that. The height of World War III, you know, things is getting real hectic right now. All right. So, yeah, and the war on terror. So again, when you're looking at the world ending, all right, hey, we not living how we was living before 2000 no more. All right, we're not living under the Egyptian rulership no more, or the Egyptian era when they was ruling, the Roman era. Well, we are kind of in the Roman era. All right, still. All right, we're not in, you know, the Medo-Persian era or nothing like that. We're not living in these eras no more. We pretty much in all of that combined into one here in Babylon the Great. But nevertheless, this here kingdom is also going to fall, man. This is also going to come to an end. All right, and the kingdom of heaven is being established as you see it right now. This is why you have the men of the Lord being raised up on the highways and the byways. This is why these scriptures and these lessons are going forth to raise them up, to stir up their pure mind. All right, to get them right in order to take rulership, all right. So read verse 9 again. It says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right. Let me go to... Now, if you understand what happened was we were put into captivity. All right. And we're under captivity right now under these Edomites. All right. But again, it seems like we're going to be here forever. All right. The so-called white man is dominating the whole planet Earth, and he ain't going to never fall. But according to the scriptures, all right, he's at his end right now. All right. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth. All right. Because the devil's come down to you having great wrath because he has but a short time. All right. The son of perdition is being revealed. All right. The saints are being woken up. These are all signs according to prophecy that there's about to be a kingdom, transition of the kingdom. All right. Now, according to this transition of the kingdom, there's going to be other things that take place. And these are also the things that you see in being stirred up before they actually take place. All right. This is Jeremiah 30:16. It says, therefore, all that devoured thee shall be devoured, and all thy adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be spoiled, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. Now, we just read about how in Genesis 27, during according to the blessing, blessed be they that bless thee, and cursed be they that curse thee. Now, we was taken into captivity under Esau, and at the end of his rulership, he's going to be taken out of power from Jacob. Jacob's going to wind up reigning and ruling and putting his ass into captivity, all right? He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. You know, that's what Revelation chapter 13, 9, and 10, I believe. Let me check that out. I think it's 13, 9, and 10. Revelation 13, 9, and 10. If any man have an ear, let him hear. All right. Now, verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. All right. We all got ears. We can all hear, right? But now, you have to understand what it's talking about. These prophecies. Do you hear and understand these here prophecies that's taking place, man? All right. Verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. All right. So look, you have to understand, the course of this here world according to prophecy. Because why? Right now you have our people waking up to the fact that the atrocities of what Esau has done to us and so on and so forth. But they out there asking for a paycheck, a reparations in that form. Whereas when you look at the prophecies, all right, we got a way better reparation package than what the fuck y'all asking for, what the fuck even Esau got, man. All right, you asking for, some money in which they ain't even going to agree on the amount of money. Even if they give you simple niggas $20 trillion, you know what I'm saying? What you think is a lot of money is not really a lot of money. This is what the fuck they bring in on an annual basis, for America. So they just basically gave you a year's worth of their paycheck. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many years of your labor did you give them? You see what I'm saying? But nevertheless, the Most High has a way better reparation package than what you know what Jake is looking for, man. We're gonna take the heathen and possess them in the land as well. All right, and then we're gonna make them. We're gonna use them to milk the earth with. All right, and get all the resources from, just like how they used us, man. All right, so look, this is all a part of this here transition into the kingdom of heaven that you're starting to see happen. These are these prophecies that's taking place. This is why you're starting to see a lot of these videos where Jake is turning up on Esau and they stomping them the fuck out or whatever, whatnot, and they standing up for themselves and so on and so forth. This is Esau, and Esau not really having the power to do a lot of these things, and Esau catching a bunch of L's when it come time to them calling the police on Jake for selling lemonade and so on and so forth, and certain things where they catching hell at, all right, because you seeing them, these curses fall upon them and a transition starting to take place. Jacob is technically pulling Esau up out of that power structure, all right, while also being raised up. But ultimately, all right, it's going to be when Yahweh Shah returns, all right? We're going to grab that. This is Daniel chapter 7, verse 13. And I saw in the night vision, and I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven. All right, hey, another prophecy going into that. The clouds of heaven that Yahweh Shah is coming with. You know, you can read about this in 2nd Ezra chapter 13. All right, you can read about this throughout the whole scriptures. You know, also in the book of Revelation, talking about then you know, then you can see the sign of the Son of Man coming in the clouds, and all the nations gonna see him, and they're gonna mourn. All right, because why? And these clouds that he's talking about is the chariots, so-called UFOs. All right, which was prophesied in the scriptures. All right, so again, when you're looking up in the skies and you seeing these so-called UFOs and you don't know what to make of it, you know, what are you gonna do? You're gonna go off of Esau and his little bullshit that he telling you, or are you gonna go back to the source that told you what these things was way before you even started noticing them? You know, because these things was prophesied that these things was, you're gonna see these signs coming. All right, these are the signs of the Son of Man coming right now. The chariots making these appearances. All right, so this is Daniel 7 and 13, and I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion. All right, so now the dominion is being given unto Yahushua. All right, but who is it being taken from? It's going to be taken from out of Esau's hand, because Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right, this is what we're looking forward to, that when the Lord comes back. This is also, according to prophecy, how we know, well, according to prophecy is how we know what Yahushua is coming back to do. All right, because you go deal with these Christians and everything. They all, oh, we want to wait, we waiting on Jesus to come back, so on and so forth. They don't even know what the hell he coming back to do. They say, oh, he gonna save us. Well, what the hell you gonna be saved from, so we don't go to hell? But what happens if you die before then? You know what I'm saying? Like, they all confused and mixed up. That's not what the hell's talking about, man. You're gonna be delivered from your enemies, man. This is what it's talking about, man. All right, and then they're gonna be taken out of their power structure. The Lord's we're gonna read it. Matter of fact, we're gonna read it. He's gonna take the crowns up off these kings and put them in subjection, man. All right. Verse 14 again, Daniel 7 and 14, and there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. And his dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. So we read earlier about how Jacob's blessing was going to be the fatness of the heavens and the earth. So, but his rulership is almost like the same as Esau's. Esau had the same blessing. Like you can read in the book of Job 9 and 24. Esau was given basically dominion over the earth as well too, but his dominion over the earth is a temporary dominion. All right, but when we reign, our dominion is going to be an everlasting dominion. All right, it's going to last forever. All right, but this was also a prophecy that was prophesied, you know, back in the Babylonian time, according to what the things that we're looking forward to now, the things that's transpiring right now. This is the transition that you're starting to see. This is the rocky road and the crumbling of this here kingdom that you're starting to see happen over here in America. This is why things are getting so bad. All these people getting strung out off these drugs, these medications, these philosophies. You seeing people running around goddamn bugged out of their mind left and right, man. America is not to say technically falling, but really, like, the status of America's falling, man. The mindset to these people, everything over here is decayed. It's all bullshit, filler, fake, and just done for. You see what I'm saying? But when it's physically taken out of its place, then this is when the kingdom of heaven is going to be established. But again, we're living in that time of that transition right now. And you can measure these things by what? According to the prophecies, watching the prophecies, reading and learning and understanding these here prophecies, all right? Let me jump down a little bit. This is verse 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. All right. So again, We're not in this position right now to where we got dominion forever and ever and ever. We're not in the kingdom of heaven right now. But look, we're at the end of Esau's kingdom, which is the beginning of the kingdom of Israel. All right. So we're in that transitional phase. All right. And again, we can measure these things up, and we can look at these things according to what? The prophecies that we're reading. You can look at these things and you can measure it up. You know, we're going to grab two more of those real quick. This is verse 22. Yeah, verse 22. It says, 21. And I beheld in the same horror made war with the saints and prevailed against them until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. All right. So again, this hasn't happened, but this is a future prophecy that we're looking for, and we see that it's actually bubbling up, man. This is according to our future, man. All right. We're not going to sit down and outvote the so-called white man. We're not going to sit here and make more money than the so-called white man, outsmart the so-called white man. No. Look, when the Lord come back, he's going to take the crowns up off the king, the heads of these kings, man. Take them out of their power seat, man. All right, and we're going to reign and rule with Yahushua, all right? We're going to be in the kingdom of heaven. We're going to put these other nations in subjection, all right? This is the future. These are the things that's coming to pass, man. These are the things you should be looking forward to. This is the future of America, man. This is the future of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. This is also the future of the so-called white men, and for that matter, all the other nations as well, too, because they're going into captivity as well, too, all right? So, those are two precepts I was going to grab. Lord willing, if they come back to me, I'll go grab them. We're going to go to the book of Revelation, chapter 19 and verse 11. It says, and I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called faithful and true, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. All right, and this is talking about Yahushua. When he's coming back, he's returning. He's returning to do what? To make war with the kings of the earth when he returns into the earth. All right, his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but himself. All right, because why? Why does he have all these crowns? Because he's going through the earth, taking the crowns off these other kings' head, basically taking them out of their rulership. You know, decimating these other kings and these kingdoms. All right. It says, and he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of the Most High. And the armies which were in heaven, all right, talking about those so-called UFOs, the chariots, followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. Now, when it goes into white, meaning pure horses, power, all right? So pure power, clothed in fine linen, all right? Meaning this shit is superior, man, all right? White and clean, meaning, hey, this bitch is pure and is flawless. You know, it's just like you saying, man, my shit, hey, man, I got that candy paint without a scratch on that bitch, man. That bitch is clean, bro. That bitch is off the chain, bro. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, you ain't fucking with these chariots, man. All right, but this, again, is also according to prophecies. This is how we know what certain things are. This is why we're not going to be afraid. This is why the scriptures say wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of that time. So, you know, now when you start seeing so-called UFOs pop up, you don't get all fearful, want to call the police, pull out your little 22 and start shooting at it or nothing like that. Because why? You know exactly what that is. Like, actually, this is more help than harm for me. This is my salvation over here, man. These things, Lord willing, is coming to protect me right now, man. All right, these things ain't my enemies. These are the Edomite enemies, and they over here expressly because my ass is over here, man. We the beacon of light that they coming to look for, man. We like E.T. and we done phone the fuck home. Now the fathership is coming back to come get our ass, you know. But nevertheless, if you don't understand these things according to prophecy, you just going off hearsay, she say, or how you feel, how they feel, their interpretation of these things. You can't rightly discern the scriptures, man. All right, because all these things are these deep sayings in here are all put inside the scriptures for what? The edification of the saints. All right, the elect. All right, and now they were going to be measuring the times diligently. All right. Oh, that was one of the ones I was going to grab. I think. What's that? 2nd Ezra 9. Con. 2nd Ezra chapter 9 verse 1. It says he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou now how are you going to measure the time diligently? What the fuck, you looking at a clock? You looking at a calendar or some shit? You know what I'm saying? You can't measure the time off no clock or no calendar like that. You know what I'm saying? That's not what he's talking about. But it expressly tells you in here how you're going to measure it. It says, he answered me then and said, measure the time diligently in itself. And when thou see part of the signs pass, which I've told thee before, and these signs are what? The things that was prophesied ahead of time that was going to happen before the end was going to come. All right? Like, for instance, Jacob's trouble is going to come before the end. Esau is going to basically be setting up his new world order kingdom. And when he's about to fill his belly, that's when the thermonuclear missile is going to rain down on his ass, all right? The RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast, is going to be implemented, all right? So Israel is going to be woken up. So as we measuring it, we see this prophecy came to pass, this one. Well, shit, it ain't really nothing left. But for these here last couple of them to go down, and really they all going to go simultaneously, you know? You're going to have an economic collapse over here, which is going to lead into the mark of the beast, all right? You're going to have some kind of false flag attack that's probably going to implement all that. You're going to have probably some chaos and shit. If the how you say, your economy collapses, your money is no longer no good, then you're going to do what? Implement martial law, which is going to bring in what? The day of Jacob's trouble. And in the midst of all this here Jacob's trouble, what's going to pop off? World War III. In the midst of World War III, when those thermonuclear missiles get shot off, that's when the chair is going to come to deliver us. So this is all going to fall simultaneously. So now, as we measure the time diligently by looking at the signs or the prophecies that was told to us beforehand, we see the most part of them all pass by. Only the last few left. Then we know clearly how to measure the time diligently. We know clearly how to measure up. Oh, shit, we almost up out of here, bro. You know what I'm saying? The famine of the word is another one. That's another big end time prophecy. Because we know once the famine of the word is implemented and we ain't out there teaching on the highways and the byways, then the elect is sealed, man. Then it's, you know, the Lord ain't looking to seal no more Israelites because he got his final number at that point in time, man. All right, so then what? We know that salvation is nearer than what we believe. It's right around the corner. All right. Let me just keep reading a little bit of this. Verse 2. Then thou shalt understand it's the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, that's when the Lord is starting to return. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, all right, and you starting to see that now. You got earthquakes in different places. Salak. And you also have these uproars of the people, these different uprisings, the Arab Springs, the Color Revolution, the shit over there in Hong Kong, Venezuela, all these different things. You got the yellow vest protests. You still got the same shit going over here in America, you know, with Jacob versus Esau and the race wars basically brewing off over here. All right. But nevertheless, these are all the uproars throughout the whole earth. All right. These are the signs. These are the prophecies that we're looking for to measure the time diligently. Yeah, there's been drama and shit like that throughout the whole time frame, but not like this, where every country is pretty much dealing with some shit, you know? Every country right now is dealing with something militarily right now. They building up their military right now. There ain't no country sitting docile right now. Like, you know what? Everybody else investing in military arms. We ain't gonna do. We gonna just invest in some farming shit. Because wow, when World War pop off, they're gonna be the first one. That's an easy target. So everybody's preparing for this here end time because wow, it was all written down in the scriptures as far as the prophecies to let us know when these things was gonna come to pass and when the return of the Lord was gonna be nigh. All right. Verse 4. Then thou shalt well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Basically breaking down the definition of a prophecy. All right, I'm gonna read that again. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High, all right, this is going into basically the definition of a prophecy, that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. All right. So again, the prophesy is to say before. All right. It says for like, and really of you know, how do I say, of godly things, more to say. This insight comes from the Most High, not necessarily, oh, I'm gonna just say the Braves gonna win the baseball game from here to there, or whatever, whatnot, or I'm about to go do this and I'll slap your ass, and then I actually slap your ass. I mean, technically that, I mean, you said it beforehand, but you know, you also gotta have that spiritual aspect of it. You know, this is what the Most High is talking about, you know. But nevertheless, hey, but also on the left-hand side, you got left-handed prophecies, you know. Albert Pike, right? These Edomites still go down and they'll write down because they plan in 100 to 200, 300, 400, and 1,000-year blocks. All right, so like if you know who Albert Pike is, all right, the homeboy pretty much wrote down how, you know, the players in World War I, World War II, and World War III, and who the outcome was going to be on all three wars, all right, or all three world wars, all right, before any of these took place, all right. So, you know, and this was a prophecy that they wound up, you know, writing down, and this is the plan that they're going according to. But ultimately, you know, everything is all in the how do I say, the spectrum of the Most High's will. All right, everything. Just for instance, here's another situation. Esau is, I mean, I don't know if he came out and said this in open, but we know what he's doing. Trying to shut down the YouTube and cancel out the freedom of speech to stop us from putting these here videos out. So basically, you know, that's, you know, something that he has in his heart to do. He's trying to do this. I mean, you could kind of say that's like a prophecy he has, or we're going to shut down the internet. You know, some people even say that, you know, certain times, you know, where you can look at that as a left-hand side prophecy, But at the end all be all, ultimately it's working and everything worked together for good for the Most High, because what? We know that's what Esau is doing on the left-hand side in the carnal sense, but on the right-hand side in the spiritual sense, that's that Amos 8 and 11, the famine of the word. All right. So, I mean, you're not really doing nothing according to, your own will. This is what's been put inside of your mind from the Most High, from the jump street. All right. Or also the Georgia Guidestones. Oh, we want to reduce the population of Earth down to 500 million, meaning you got to kill like 6.5 billion people. Well, when you go into, Judgment Day, the end all be all, the Most High is going to kill off basically a lot of the planet. You see what I'm saying? It's the same shit is going on. There's going to be a big population reduction. All right. But all of this, and basically they want to reclaim certain land for certain things, so on and so forth. Hey, man, look, we about to renew the earth anyway, man. So, Esau has his so-called left-handed plans, but they're not going to go according to his plan and his will. All right. Ultimately, all the way out. Another one of his prophecies and plan is to microchip everybody. All right. But ultimately, this is a prophecy that the Most High had put in his heart before he even knew what the fuck a computer was. All right. But nevertheless, let me read this again. It says, verse 6, 2 Ezra 9-6. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and ending in effects and signs. All right. So look, when the Most High do stuff, it has a spectacular beginning and a spectacular ending. All right. It's going to be all manifest. You're going to know what it is and when it is. Like, oh, shit. All right. Verse 7, everyone that shall be saved shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby he shall be believed. All right. And that's all I wanted to grab there. I couldn't think of what that other scripture I wanted to grab was. But nevertheless, I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. I just want to touch on that, as far as the transition of this here kingdom and how, what's going to happen to because this is the new talk of the town, because so-called black people's so-called waking up and they becoming so-called conscious and woke now. Oh, we got to build black. We got to do this and got to do that and so on and so forth. Like, no, we ain't got to do none of that shit, man. No, y'all want that low hanging fruit. We don't want to build up no fucking kingdom. We already built up this kingdom. You see what I'm saying? We want them to build up our kingdom, but we want this in righteousness. We just want to sit back and have faith and wait on the Lord, all right, and stay occupied feeding the sheep until he return, all right? And let us stay occupied in these here prophecies so we can basically keep looking at our watch, man. That's just basically looking at our clock every damn time. All right, we got 2 more minutes, 3 more, 5 more minutes, 3 more minutes, 2 more minutes, all based off of what? Reading these prophecies and measuring the time diligently, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, this here lesson was edifying unto the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rochakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, I can pushing this truth and sincerity on the 4 corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong and shalom.